it's Laura. Nice to see you all again. I'm going to make soap today, and I'm making a soap video so that you know how to do it yourself. A lot of people just don't like doing it because they think it's dangerous or they just don't want to do it themselves. And I started this hobby probably around 2 years ago, and I just love it. Okay, so let's get on with the safety gear. You're going to need rubber gloves. And it is highly suggested that you wear long sleeve with the rubber gloves, but my rubber gloves will go over my sleeves, even though they're not long sleeves. And you're going to need safety glasses for mixing the caustic soda, which is the same as lye. Safety glasses always, because if it splatters, it could blind you. And a mask. The fumes that come from the lye are they're very strong. A lot of my soaping friends do their soaps outside, outdoors, or underneath their stove fan. You can do it any way you want, but I choose to wear a mask. Okay, I'm used to masks. Having COVID and wearing one now and being questioned when I go in the store why my husband doesn't have one on and I have one on, but anyway, I use a mask. And this is called an immersion blender. You're going to need one of these. This is real important for mixing your oils, and then once your lye gets to a certain temperature, you're going to need also the immersion blender to get it to what we call trace. Trace is when you have all your oils together and your caustic soda, and sometimes if you use fragrance or color, and you lift it up and it leaves like a trace, and I will show you later how that looks with a trace when we get that all together. I'm going to pause this until I get all my stuff mixed up, and I will, if you want a recipe, you can message me privately, okay? Okay, so I have taken you off camera to measure out my lye in my water. I'm real funny about this lye till I get it to where it's measured and I put it aside. I'm not as thrilled. I mean, this stuff can be very, very poisonous. But once it's done and you see the finished product, you're going to be so happy. So I'm actually stirring the lye into the water. Never the water into the lye. You'll have an eruption and you'll get burned and you'll go blind. Usually these things, when it first hits the water, it's about 180 to 190 degrees. And then as time passes, when I'm doing the other things that I have to do, if you can see, I have my mask and my safety glasses on. It's a long process, but it's well worth it in the end. It's so good for your skin. I'd rather use this soap than anything in the stores. Once I put this aside, I'll take my mask off. After you get your lye cooled down to a certain temperature, it's about 180, so I don't even know. Let me see. I'll tell you what it is right now. I have a heat gun, and it is between 178 and 180, so it just ended up on 179. I'd like to get it down between 120 and 130, so I'm going to put it up on my counter away from everything here, and you'll never ever use any of your supplies in your food again. Okay. Now, the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out the oils. I have a hard oil here, which is coconut oil, and that's going to be mixed with some olive oil, but I'm going to use it, I'm going to melt it as a hard oil over a double boiler, which is going to be much better than putting it in the microwave because that might take some of the properties away from it. So for now, I'm going to show you this way. I would like to do it as a double boiler method, and I'm going to measure it out. This is my handy dandy little Walmart scale. It's a food scale, and you can get these for probably, I don't know, probably around $12, $14, sometimes $19.99. Just really depends on what you plan on spending. And this one's a pretty good one. I think I got this one off of Amazon. I have about 4 of them, but they work great. Okay, what I plan on doing is getting 12.80 into, which is 12.8 of ounces into my bowl. And on the scale, there's a button that when you put the bowl on, it minuses, it just clears out the scale to 0 so you can get accurately measured, because when you do soaps, you have to have everything to the ounce. I mean, it has to be perfectly measured. So right now I have 3.3 in there, and as you can see, I use a lot of coconut butter between the soaps and my body butters. Yes, use a lot of it. Okay, I think I need a harder spoon. Okay. So I'm looking for 12.8, and then I'm going to put it on the double boiler, and that's way too much. So what I do is I take it out. I'm going to show you guys just some of my silicones that I went, oh, I go berserk. Whenever I find a craft that I love, I love it. Okay, so it's at 12.9. I'm just going to take a little sliver away, and it's at 12.8 exactly. So now I'm going to bring it over to my double boiler, and I'm going to get that melted, and I'll be back. While the coconut oil is melting, I'm going to tape my scale so it's to 0, even with the cup on it. And I'm looking for 19.2 ounces of olive oil. I go to Walmart for my olive oil because it's cheaper. But you do have to use olive oil in this recipe. 19.1. Let's see how I could get that other 1.1 ounce in there. Let's see, without going over. Has to be exact. Okay. It's exactly 19.2. Okay, what I'm doing now is I measured out my fragrance oil, which is Caribbean teak wood, and I have an ounce. You need to go on soapcalc.com with whatever recipe that you find that you think you're going to like, because every recipe needs to be double checked. So I usually will write in the notes down here whether I like the recipe or not. And however, I did like this one, but I just never wrote it down. This was a pretty good recipe. So I am going to put the coloring on once I get everything all mixed up. Now, this right here is my heat gun, and I'm going to check my lye mixture. I'm going to turn this around so you can see my lye mixture. I kind of stuck it up on the counter away from me. I don't know. Wait. Oh, Lord heaven. Well, anyway, I'm going to turn it back and then just bring the lye mixture over to me. And this is it. Actually, I already took off my safety gear except for my glasses because I don't want that blinding me. And I'm going to shoot the heat gun into it to find out what it's at. And it's at 151. You like to keep your lye mixture and your oils approximately at least 10 degrees apart from one another to make a really good batch. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pour my olive oil into my melted coconut oil that I melted on the double boiler. And I'm going to try and get every drop because of the fact that it has to be really accurate as far as the ounces and that kind of thing. But anyway, this is fun. I haven't done soap probably in a couple of weeks, but I have a craft fair coming up, and I'm going to be doing soap all week because I need to have plenty of soap for this, and it takes 4 to 6 weeks to cure. So tonight I'm just doing a small batch, but next week I'm going to be doing some really big batches. My husband made me, he's such a doll. He's doing my she shed. He planted a tree in my memorial garden today. He made me these soap molds, and he also, for me, will line them with parchment paper. Now, that doesn't go to say that I don't use my silicone molds, because I do. When I have big batches, and he also made me a really big soap mold that I can use when I make a large batch. Sometimes I will do baby showers, and I have, for the favors, I have little molds for that. You dog lovers, I have doggy paws soaps that, you could stick in your bathroom for hand soaps, by your sink. It's really cool. And I don't even know how I got into this. I don't remember, but it was, as everything else that I really enjoy when I soap, or when I just learned how to do stencils, and I'm learning from Pammy and Jen, and it's awesome. Well, they work for Chalk Couture, and it's a wonderful company, and I'm learning a lot from them. I don't really plan on selling them. I'm going to do them for Christmas gifts this year, so I've been enjoying watching their lives, and they have live sales, and it's really cool. But for right now, what I have to do is I have to try and get my lye and my oils to match within 10 degrees, and then I'll come back. Okay, this is what's called titanium dioxide. It's not as bad as it sounds. It's actually a whitener for the oil. And I usually stick it in when it's just oil before I can mix the lye with it. It's going to get noisy. And what you do is you kind of get all the bubbles out. Okay, so that was yellow. Now it's white. Every time I use this, once I use it the first time, and please excuse my shortness of breath. As most of you know, I had COVID last year, and I still get short of breath when I'm doing things. Okay, so I've got that in there. I'm trying to get my two. Oh, this one's good. Okay, 131 and 118. And you like to get them about 10 degrees apart. And I'm going to mix this up. And usually when you mix it up, you'll know right away how good you did. I'm making a mess. But this is the lye and water that we originated with. I've seen people just pour it in even right after mixing it, but I don't do that. I follow directions. Okay, so I'm going to mix it up. Okay. Now, because I want to color this blue and white, because the scent is Caribbean teakwood, and so it kind of makes sense to make it like a beachy color. This mask doesn't help with my breathing. Okay, I'm going to pour just a little bit of it into here because you'll see what I'm going to do after that. Okay, so it's about half. Okay, you try not to waste any if you don't have to. Okay. Then, oh, this is really cool. Okay, so we're going to have to make this come to a trace in both situations, both colors. And this is some make it accelerate. Some of the fragrances, oh my gosh, I've had it freeze up on me and get hard as a rock where I couldn't pour it. I've lost so many batches of soap that way. The Caribbean teak wood, I'm not sure, but I don't think it's going to freeze up on me. I'm going to put some of it in here and some of it in there. And on top of that, I'm going to put the blue. Oh, this is beautiful peacock blue mica. And that's what you use to color your soap. If you want it colored, you don't have to color it. Okay. So, what you want to do is bring both of these to a trace. And a trace is when you are blending it with the immersion blender and you do kind of like this, it leaves a trace on the top. So it traces itself. See how pretty? Okay. This is the white and the fragrance is in there, so it's acting good. I'm lucky so far. I'm going to use the big bowl. Okay. I have a whole cabinet full of bowls. I don't know why I use this really big one for such a small bowl. Okay, so this is going to be the white one. And what I'm going to do, oh, this is the fun part. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into my mold. And as you can see, it's almost to like the pudding point. Almost kind of pudding texture. Not quite, because I've had so many bad experiences with the soaps turning on me. Freezing. So, it's going to be pretty though. Okay. And it smells really good. Even through the mask, I can smell it. Okay. And to those of you who want to try this, wait till the dishes come. Oh my gosh. It's like, yeah, we have a lot of dishes. Okay. That's the white. And then I'm going to put this back on. Wait till you see how pretty this is. I'm going to stir it up a little bit first. Get some of the bubbles out. Okay, so it's a pretty good trace right now. I want to try and get it in there before it turns too hard. Okay. Sometimes when I have time, I take it. If it doesn't go tracing too fast. Okay, now, you see how this is going in there, and it's kind of making its own, What I'm going to do, I haven't decided, wait, there's a couple of ways I could do this, but I think I'll do it. Okay, you want to get it off the side. And off of my dish mat, I have to run that through the washer. I don't think I got any lye on it, but bring it down to get the bubbles out. And then find them. Here they are. Okay. Okay, so we have skewer sticks. And what we're going to do, oh, it's already getting hard and so pretty. Oh, I just love it. Now, I made a small batch tonight, so it's not going to be that much, but it's just too bad that I didn't make a bigger batch because this one came out so pretty. Wait till you see when we cut it. Okay. And I'm going to show you. Can you see it? Now, if I waited for it to get a little harder, I could actually put spoon marks on the top and go through it with one of my spoons. Now, in order to saponify and gel all the way through, you have to let the heat build up and work its way out overnight. So my husband made me lids for these boxes, and that's what we're going to do. Sometimes I actually cover it with, oh boy, it's kind of stuck. Okay, here we go. I'll sometimes cover it with cardboard and then wrap it in a towel. But since he made these lids for me, I don't have to do that. But you can make the prettiest little decorations and designs on here. Just so pretty. Anyway, I promised one of my friends, Pam, she said she'd watch it if I did a live on making soap. So there it is. And I'll come back if I know how to use my camera. I'll come back tomorrow. Oh, by the way, I did put my safety gear on again to mix the lye with the oils because you have to. You just have to. It's better to be careful. Anyway, this is how it's going to be covered overnight. And it has to stay overnight covered for, like, say 15 to 24 hours. I could open this in the morning and it's going to be ready. And then I'll plop it out and I will use it to bring it over to my soap cutter, and I'll do it from there. Okay, well, you guys have a good day, and I will bring you back to cut the soap, and we'll see what we did. Thank you. Okay, until tomorrow, I just wanted to show you that I have the box covered, and it's ready to just sit out for the night with it covered. And then I just did all my dishes, and basically, you know, this is it. I mean, this is what you're gonna get. But I just did want to tell you something. Oh yeah, you can see all my bead stuff. I can't wait till my she shed is ready. I am completely grown out of my craft room. But I just wanted to let you know that you do have to wear your gloves when you're washing the dishes, because there could be some lye that's not saponified yet, and you just to be safe, you just want to wear them. Okay, I'll see you in the morning.